Hey guys, we're back. We are here in the conclusion of the 2020 to 2021 season. Very disappointing, very heartbreaking. We had to wait a few days to really let it sink in. We couldn't record on Sunday night. The temper in me was too high, and I'm sure the sadness in Randy was too high.
I was disappointed. I couldn't
Yeah,
record day of. It was a very disappointing ending.
I
I would
actually have a
never.
hole in my wall. You can see that little hole. That is from Sunday. I promise. So. It was very rough. Nobody would have imagined with this season we would have ended how we did. Um, but in the end, we were 10-6. We made strides this year that nobody thought we would make. Whether it was player development, our rookie quarterback coming out and playing well enough. Whether it was our defense being one of the top 3 or 5 defenses in the league, even after that disgusting loss to Buffalo. Um, Having a great GM, great front office, great training staff, following COVID protocols, great head coach, our offensive coordinator, Um, but I mean, the season as a whole, what in my opinion was a success. There's many things that are bright going forward with this team. You know, we fell short this year and stings, but 2020 wasn't supposed to be our year. You know, this was a 2-year rebuild. 2021, we have these draft picks. This next offseason is probably the most important offseason coming up.
I
So
was gonna say that we fell short on Sunday from what we were kind of hoping for and expecting for now, but we've talked about it before. What about before the season had started, before training camp, before anything? Every single Dolphins fan, reporter, everyone would have said that this was an overperformance by a long shot of what we ever would have expected from them. Does And I don't think it does. I'm going to ask you, but I'm sure it doesn't. Does the loss in the fashion that we lost to Buffalo, does that take away anything for you from what we accomplished this season? It doesn't for me.
I think there were many highs and there were also many lows. Um, the Broncos game was really the one game they needed back.
They needed that
Um,
game, and
I feel
that'll.
like yeah, they needed that game. And honestly, even the Raiders game, we got lucky, but we did not play well. We did not play well. Um, Coming out, going into Buffalo, we know how tough it is to win there. We know our record there hasn't been good. We I think we've won once since Josh Allen has been there. We beaten Josh Allen once, and it was when he underthrew that touchdown to Charles Clay. I mean, we have no success versus Josh Allen. But to answer your question, no. Like I said, I think it was a successful season. The player development is the one thing I liked. Whether it was Andrew Van Ginkel, Xavier Howard even developed more. Emmanuel Ogba had his breakout year. Lynn Bowden Jr. It's got me excited.
They did what they said they were going to do. If you ever ask Flores or Greer what the goal was in the beginning of the season, they'll tell you the same thing every time. It actually annoys me to watch any of the press conferences. I know we both watched the GM and head coach press conference. I'm very annoyed at them asking questions that they know I know the answer. They ask me a question and I'm like, I could pretend to be Flores right now. They ask a question about, what did we accomplish this season, or do you feel like you accomplished a lot? They said, and Flores is going to give the same answer every time. We came out to improve every day. We wanted to get better, and we did that. I agree.
Yeah,
I've been saying that since day one. They'll say they ask him a question about the future, and they'll say we're taking this thing one day at a time. It's every single press conference. They ask the same types of questions, and they get the same exact answer out of them. They've got to think of different questions to ask the
my
coach, the
favorite my
GM.
favorite was Armando Salguero's last question. It was this is for Flo or Greer. Um, Going forward, what's your goal? What do you mean? What's the goal? The goal is to win
But
games and
yeah,
win a Super Bowl.
yeah, to
What
win
do you
games, to
want?
win the Super Bowl, and to
Yeah.
get better. Like, what do you
And
expect the goal to be?
Flores is like, well, we just looked uncomfortable. He's like, well, I mean, we need to get better every day. Come in, prepare. He loves to say that
Yeah, yeah, I
preparation,
got to prepare.
execution. Yep.
Hey, you know what? We got what we. I'm happy. I'm happy because we got what we wanted. I have a coach now that I like the way he does things, and the team is like a sponge. Everything he says, they sound like him. They do like him. They sound like him. They follow his model. This team will be perennially successful as long as Flo coaches that way and nothing changes. We could get into whether we think that there should be some changes at the coordinator position, specifically offensive coordinator, but the way that organization is structured now, as long as they can keep this intact and not lose too many pieces, I like where it's going. It's very funny to listen to the press conferences, but I know we're both encouraged by the way that they answer the questions because we've seen that they're not BSing us. This is the first time in my life I felt I wasn't BS'd at a press conference by coaches. They say it, they mean it, they preach it, they live it, and we saw the rewards of it, but I almost consider this part of the rebuild like 1A, and next will be like 1B in the sense that we did the defense. We did the defense this last offseason, and there's just only so much capital and only so much draft capital you have to address. I think this is the offense's turn
Yep.
in terms of offseason.
Real quick, we're not going to talk about the Bills game a lot, but I do want to just spit some stats out. I just like going over them real quick. Let me ask you, how many pass attempts do you think Tua had?
In upwards of 55.
He had 58 passes, 361 yards. A lot of that was in garbage time, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Devontae Parker led the receivers, 7 catches, 116 yards, but he did not play a good game.
We need to talk about that video before I'm going to take a pause. So,
That's good enough. We don't even need to talk about the Bills too much.
just got to talk about this
We saw
video.
what happened.
So Andrew sent me a video, and he sent it to our group chat, and it's a video of all the receivers' drops for the game against the Bills. Every drop and like what they looked like, everything, to a very funny song in the background. And I'm watching this video and I'm thinking this is hilarious. But then like a minute and 30 passes and I'm checking the time to see how much longer the video is, and it's another minute and 30 after that. I'm like, there's no way they can keep this going for 3 minutes of drops, and they did. There was 3 full minutes of drops. I counted at least 200 yards that were dropped. And I'm not making excuses for Tua. I'm not about to sit here and say like, oh, Tua didn't play well because his receivers dropped the ball. But like,
It was obvious.
we were exposed. Exposed. I am ready to hit this offseason and to find people who can route run and catch the ball. It's not like Tua's throwing inaccurate passes either. I'm watching the ball bounce off of helmets, bouncing off of hands, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, I could because I watched the game. It just, when they condense it, it's like, wow, we threw the ball a lot. I don't know what we were thinking in the offensive play calling, and clearly we just can't execute, or we couldn't execute. We will moving forward, but
Yeah, coming out of the second half was really impressive. That first drive they had, they kind of got bailed out on that pass interference at the 1 yard line, but they did end up scoring. But I think the first 3 or 4 plays, Tua was throwing the ball downfield. There was no checkdowns, no bubble screens, no RPOs, and the RPOs are good, but you have to have a run game. If you have Najee Harris with the RPOs, it's different than having Myles Gaskin. You got to have that threat to make the linebackers come up, but the RPO is useless.
I want to talk about Tua. We always talk about Tua. I want to talk about Tua because the slander after this game was astronomical. People saying we should draft Fields and all this other stuff. Look, neither Andrew or I are probably going to sit here and crown Tua. I'm not about to crown Tua. What I'm going to say is they did very well, and he did very well with no supporting cast, and I've seen him throw the ball downfield spectacularly. Not saying that, oh, can he throw the ball downfield? Yes, I have seen it. Nothing changes between Alabama and Miami that he all of a sudden doesn't have the accuracy or the touch. I want to make a Tua argument that's pro Tua. What do we expect from a rookie quarterback realistically? We expect to see them struggle. We expect to see them read defenses slowly. We expect to see them grow into the game like every other player, and he's playing the hardest position. And so, like, he struggled in the way that any rookie would, but he has things that I like that can't be taught. So, like, what's the difference between Josh Allen his rookie year and Tua his rookie year? Well,
The difference is that Tua played better.
Yeah, so Tua played better. That's one thing. Josh Allen didn't come out with the footwork, with the accuracy, with the leadership, all of these things. He didn't come out with any of these things that can't be, coached up. And you could say he got better with his accuracy. I would say that they built a freaking fortress around him, and they just made it so he can't fail. Tua's in the opposite situation right now. He's in a situation where he was set up for failure pretty much in terms of everything. He was set up for failure. I like his footwork. I like his attitude. I like his resilience. I like his mobility. There's things that he does that are natural talent. Why he plays over Fitz, natural talent. What he doesn't have over Fitz, understanding of the NFL game quite yet. He had no offseason. He spent a lot of it in a hospital bed, and he didn't get to train. He had to rehab. There's a difference between training and rehab. Our expectations for this kid were a little bit overhyped, I think, and everyone thought he would
Well,
come in and be a
so
god. Go ahead.
so
That's my Tua
let
grade.
me, yeah. So
That's it.
going into this season, most of us thought Tua's not playing a snap this year. He's not playing a snap. Fitz is, especially after we're 3-3. We're like, all right, let's ride Fitz. Let's see if we can go 8-8, 9-7, sneak into the seventh spot in the wild
Yeah.
card. So if you think about it, Tua is ahead of his development. With all that you just said about the, spending in a hospital bed, spending it rehabbing, not training, rehabbing. There is a difference, like you said.
Yeah. Huge.
He spent his offseason rehabbing. He's with a new coordinator, obviously Chan Gailey in the NFL. He's having to read NFL defenses.
He
He
can't
did
see them
all of
live
he
because
did all of
COVID.
this year where he wasn't supposed to take a snap. So if you think about it, you can say, our expectations were too high, but he's ahead of his development. He's ahead of almost what everyone predicted he would be.
And
We're going to be going into next season where he played 8 games under his belt. And in his head, he's like, all right, this is my real season. Let's go. Let's go win some games. Let's go make the playoffs.
And you have to stop. Everyone has to stop. I know that stats are a huge thing in today's world. You have to stop being a stat monger. Everyone has to stop being a stat monger. We have to turn the film on. I had also recently watched his highlight reel from the Arizona game. And in the Arizona game, he had his weapons. He had Devontae Parker and he had Preston Williams.
He
And
loves
Preston Williams not a
Williams.
stud. He's not a
He loves
stud.
Preston Williams.
He's a good player, kind of. He's a decent to good receiver, but he's not. He's not like Devontae Smith. He's not Jalen Waddle. He's not Jerry Jeudy. He's not any of those. And for one game, Tua had what he needed to have to be successful, and I couldn't believe it. The things when I watched the highlight reel, it's like, wow, he has natural talent. So I just can't understand. I think that people want to look at stats and compare them to different QBs in different eras and different situations. We're going to win a Super Bowl in Miami if the coaching is right and if the personnel is right. Tua is not going to win a Super Bowl by himself. He cannot. He can't. No one can. Look at Deshaun Watson and look at Matt Stafford, Deshaun Watson, Matt Ryan, all these quarterbacks that I think have Super Bowl ability. It takes more than the quarterback. It's going to take everything. And I believe we have everything we need to move forward. That's why I'm not worried. And I think it would be foolish to take a quarterback, even in the first 2 rounds. I think it would be foolish.
I definitely want a backup.
Me too. But
I like Ian Book. I am a Notre
me too.
Dame fan. I like Ian Book if we can snag him in the fourth or fifth round, something like that late. Tua has been hurt. He didn't get hurt except for the jammed finger, which people were like overblowing that. It's like Tua jams his finger. Oh my gosh, he's injury prone.
He missed
Like,
one
dude,
game.
he jammed his finger on his own helmet or on his own player's helmet, like on his throwing hand. He can't play. He can't play. I mean, so
Quarterbacks
yeah.
get
So
hurt.
I would like a backup as a reserve.
Yeah.
Someone with development, someone you could learn behind Tua, and worst case comes in, plug him in if Tua does get hurt. Anyways, besides Tua, we're all here for him in 2021. Did you see his Instagram post?
Yeah, it was nice.
Yep. KVN had a nice Instagram post. Manuel Ogba. These guys are happy to be here, and they know that they fell short and left all their fans disappointed. And I think that's just going to make them even hungrier for next year.
They love playing for this team, and you can tell, and I love watching it. I'm proud to be a Dolphins fan at this point, and we've waited a long time for this, and I hope that they just continue to do what they're doing. If they continue to just get better, I'm going to be a happy fan. My expectations for the next season are going to be a lot higher. I'm expecting to win the division, and part of that's going to be building the team to win the division. That's going to be the focus of our offseason videos probably, is I want to build a team to beat Buffalo. Because let's be honest, Buffalo is a juggernaut now, and we need to do what we can to beat Buffalo. I'm not worried about New England anymore, and I'm not worried about the Jets.
Yeah, my favorite thing about this team is that, there's other teams that if they might have missed the playoffs, it would have. I mean, look at the Giants. They're sulking on Twitter. None of these guys went on social media. Excuse me, Jerome Baker did. I don't know if you saw, he was liking tweets about himself. But none of these guys made a big scene. And I, as a fan, when I'm hurt about my team, I need that same energy from inside the team. I need them to feel what we feel. I don't want them losing and being like, whatever. And I can guarantee you that team was not happy. And that's what you need going. That's how you win games is you're not satisfied. Oh, we didn't make the playoffs. Oh well. No, they were pissed off.
They
They
were
weren't
crushed.
happy.
They were crushed, and I think this 10-6 now. Hopefully, this becomes the baseline. Hopefully, this standard of winning. They didn't lose 2 games in a row since the first 2 games. Those were the only 2 games they lost, two in a row. So I'm hoping that they just need to keep building. They've got a really young
Wait,
core.
what games did we lose two in a row?
Only New England and Buffalo, and
Oh,
that's
you're talking
it.
about beginning of the season. I thought you were
Yeah,
talking
that's
about
it.
this week. Oh, okay.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
just that's it. Like they didn't lose 2 games in a row after
yeah.
that. So I just hope that they continue to improve. I love the player development. We will talk about it in other videos, but enough can't be said about Raekwon Davis, Andrew Van Ginkel, Durham Smythe,
Andrew Van Ginkel.
Adam Shaheen. There's a lot of people on this list. Lynn Bowden, I guarantee you, didn't even know how to play receiver coming into this.
Yep.
And Malcolm Perry also never played receiver, and he caught a touchdown in that game with a great double move on that route. I haven't watched all the.
I forgot about that.
The development is unreal. I'm looking for the same kind of development out of Noah Igbenogany next year. How I'm going to judge next year is the same way I'm judging this year. Let's see these year 2 players become the Andrew Van Ginkels. He's my gold standard now to see like what a player can become over, and he'll get better. He'll get better too.
All right, so we got our emotions out. I feel a lot better already.
I feel
Talking
good.
about it. Hopeful. I do want to talk about one thing. Chan Gailey. Now we all saw the fake report that Chan Gailey was fired. Came out as a hoax. Chan Gailey, as Brian Flores said, he expects to keep all the same coaching staff. Now, I want to give you my opinion on Chan Gailey. Is he my favorite offensive coordinator or my favorite option to have? No. But I think there was a plan. And I've thought about this. I'm not a big Chan Gailey fan, but going into year 2, if he trusts Tua going into year 2 like he trusts Fitzpatrick and the play calling resembles that, and Tua doesn't need to learn a whole new system. He gets to go in with the same, not same playbook, but same scheme, majority of the same plays. I'm not feeling terrible about the decision to keep Chan Gailey, and I do like the trick plays. I think the trick plays have worked out, and they keep defenses, on warning.
I want to say something now that you just said that, and that kind of changed my perspective a little bit on something. So we all love to hate on Chan Gailey in our friend group, but you just kind of sparked my thought. Didn't Chan Gailey try this year to mold this offense towards something that Tua could do? Didn't he try to do the RPO? Now that I'm thinking about it, it's like Chan Gailey actually did try to instill an offense that would work better for Tua. He failed a little bit because he was working with nothing. I think the ideas were there, right? Run those RPO concepts with Najee Harris, run them with Devonta Smith, run them with whoever we end up getting in the draft, and maybe it's a different result, and we all feel different, right?
Yeah.
Because to me, it looks like now that I think about it, he did try. The trick plays were good. He tried to be adaptable. He tried to fix the offense. He called throwing downfield when it was necessary.
That's the thing I didn't like.
But he was
That's the one.
protecting. I think I get it now.
So like I said, if that's all, that's fine and well. This season's over. If his plan was to protect Tua this year, make sure he doesn't get hurt, get rid of the ball fast, get the ball out of his hands, don't make mistakes, keep his confidence up, then okay, plan worked. Now,
Yeah.
going into next season, that can't be the plan.
No.
It's got to be unleash the quarterback. You can't go the first half running these 39 bubble screens, RPOs all the time. First half, we need deep shots. They didn't take any until the second half.
I'm going to counter something a little bit. I'm going to build and counter on what you're saying a little bit. Now that I think about it, I think the message top down, I think this comes from above Gailey. I'm just speculating here, but I'm starting to think now that this entire season, the message was we fixed the defense, the offense sucks. What we're going to do is we're going to play as conservative as possible on offense to not lose the game, and we're going to trust that the defense and special teams will win. That worked. For a long time, that worked. Then at the end of the season, it became to the point where the special teams was hurt because the offense was so hurt that we had to bring special teams players up from defense and from, they like people were taking a little bit extra reps. And now I'm thinking the whole message this whole season, it wasn't that Chan Gailey couldn't call those plays. It was probably a top-down mentality, be conservative, because isn't that so Flores to like to trust the defense? And it was the right move in 2020. In 2021, as you said, we need to fix the offense to where we trust the offense, because I know they didn't trust it. And why would they? Look at that video we saw with all those drops. Why would they? You opened up the playbook and look at what happened. 2 or 3 picks and looked terrible because everyone dropped the ball. So I'm thinking it was by design, and it needs to just be at the point now where we fix the personnel issues and we can open up the playbook to where Fitz had it.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
kind of to sum it up for me, Chan Gailey's not my top choice if I could choose the offensive coordinator. Um, but I'm not gonna hate on the decision to keep him. We
I don't
don't want
want.
to go the Ryan Tannehill where it's 3 different systems in 4 years. You need some consistency. You need trust in the building.
Yeah.
I think Tua and Chan do trust each other. I think it was just a plan all along. I really do. I really do think this was the plan, is to, mistakeless football, like you said. The offense isn't good. Let's rely on the defense, limit the mistakes, get the wins we can, and prepare for next year.
Yeah, totally. I'm gonna hit and agree with that. I'm gonna lighten up on Chan Gailey, because think about it. We're not coaches here. We don't know better than Chan
Yeah.
Gailey. But what would you do, and what would I do given that roster? Would we have called that game plan? Look at how that went. Look at what happened when they opened up that playbook. It was a disaster, and they lost terribly.
Yeah.
And that's what they were trying to avoid, and they did a good job. I'm gonna repeat it. They did a good job of not letting something like the Buffalo game happen until it had to happen, because there was no choice.
Yeah.
Now we have to just put ourselves in a position moving forward where we are not handcuffed by the offense like that.
Yeah. And the other thing is, you can blame Chan Gailey for whatever you want, but let's look at our losses real quick, right? We lost to New England because Fitz threw 3 picks.
And there was no
One
tape.
at the end, and he threw one at the end of the game. We
Yeah.
lost to New England. That's not Chan Gailey. We lost to Seattle because we decided to get burned before halftime, give up points that didn't need to, and interceptions and turnovers.
And no
You
egg
know,
monogamy.
we don't need to go through every game, but we lost to
And
Buffalo
Buffalo.
this week.
Buffalo
This
twice.
week, but this week especially, why are you even looking at Chan Gailey? What the heck do you want him to do? We gave up 56 points.
That's what
At
I
this
said.
point, it's like, Tua, go out there and just throw to whoever you want to throw to. We just got to score. Throw the ball.
I,
Like,
Yeah, how can we look at the offense? Because let's take away the special teams and the offensive touchdown. That's still 42 points, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. It's in the neighborhood of 40 plus points. How can Tua expect to win a game with 40 plus points we're giving up?
Yeah.
That game got away from them. It steamrolled. It was bad. We're not ready. The Bills are a juggernaut, and we're not ready. The goal now, I think, is to build to beat the Bills. Don't care about anyone else. Build to beat the Bills, and you will beat everyone else that you need to beat by being a good team. But
Yeah.
you need to look at the Bills roster. You need to look at your roster, and you need to say, how can we beat this team moving forward? I don't care what resources need to be, put towards that. That's what needs to happen for me.
Yeah, and I'm just to cover myself, I'm gonna repeat this one more time. I do not like Chan Gailey. I am okay with Chan Gailey going forward. I am okay with it.
I'm okay with it for now.
I'm okay with it. I just want to clear that. I don't want people, saying, "Oh, how do you like Chan Gailey?" No, I'm okay with it going forward. I'm gonna give him more than 1 year with a whole new offense with 8 rookies. I'm gonna give him more than 1 year to work with that.
They're going to add more rookies, but man, they're going to need to improve. I think there's room for improvement on the offensive line, and that could mean adding players. That could mean that Solomon Kinley and Robert
Solomon
Hunt.
Kinley didn't play.
Yeah, he didn't play.
I didn't know that. I saw him
I-
on the sideline.
He didn't play.
During the game. I was like, why is he not playing? I didn't even know he didn't play.
I don't know if he was still hurt or whatever. Yeah, I like what I saw from those 3 rookie linemen, but they've got room to grow in their game for sure. But that's what an offseason is for. Everyone is expected as a rookie to just be thrown into the fire. The game slows down for everybody, for offensive linemen, for quarterbacks, for cornerbacks. I think the cornerback actually needs to be addressed in the offseason in the case that Byron Jones and X can't stay healthy. We saw
Yeah.
what this defense looks.
We're 1 injury away in that secondary.
We're 1 injury away, and I don't trust Noah Igbenogany at the moment, so I would actually not be opposed to adding someone like an Asante Samuel Jr. through the draft, or adding a free agent. I think you could upgrade the nickel position.
Nickel
Nick
corner.
Needham.
Nickel corner.
I'm hot and cold on Nick Needham. That's someone
I
that
was a Nick Needham. You know, I was a Nick Needham voucher this whole season, and man, did he make me so angry last week. Oh my
I
gosh.
I have something to say about Nick Needham. I think that coming into the NFL, he had problems with what do you call that? His physical fitness, like his athletic ability. He was out of shape, and that's why he was cut originally last year in training camp, and then they brought him back because he had improved his physical fitness. I think he's a limited athlete, so I think you need to, no matter what, you
He's
need to
not very
upgrade.
fast. He's pretty slow.
He's slow, and he's a limited athlete, and I think the game is slowing down for him mentally at times. You saw him flash, but he can't keep up with some of these shifty slot guys. So he's a free agent. I actually would I would let
That's
him walk.
tough. That's tough. I wouldn't, I like him as a depth piece, but he shouldn't be out there starting at nickel corner.
Okay, so tender him. So I mean,
Okay.
now we're putting our offseason cap on. We'll talk about that later. I would say give him a tender of some sort. Like they can put a second round or whatever tender, and they can match someone's deal. And if not, then give him some kind of like limited deal or something. But that position does probably need to be addressed a little bit. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that eventually.
Yeah, I'm
But
excited to go forward. This off season it'll be fun. Um, it'll be long. It's gonna be a long off season,
me too. I
especially
think yeah.
finishing off the season like we did. It's gonna feel very, very long. Um, but I'm excited to keep going into these videos. Excited for the draft. Excited for free agency. Excited to see the random tweets by the Dolphins about Tua working out. I'm excited for all of it.
Me too. I think moving forward that we could continue to try to put out more content, maybe kind of up
Yeah.
our quality because I think we're coming along. I think this is something we started doing midway through the season, is making these videos,
Yeah.
and we haven't gained a lot of traction yet, but we're also, I feel like every video we make, we're getting better at this, and I'm
I
excited
agree.
also for us to I think we could take this forward and we could do some creative things with it. So I'm excited for you guys and for us and for the team.
Yep.
Overall, a lot of positivity going into 2021. There's nothing
Yep.
to complain about so far.
We're gonna be dropping a bunch of cool videos. We're gonna give out our superlatives. Shoot, probably I might drop that next week. End of the season superlatives. We're gonna build our own team. We're gonna do a full mock draft. We're gonna go through the salary cap. We're gonna sign free agents. We're gonna build our own team as if we were GM, so you can get a look inside our mind. And then of course, who we're gonna extend, who we're gonna cut. We have a lot of expiring contracts that are interesting. Not this season per se, but Jason Sanders, Emmanuel Ogba, and then there's guys we probably won't keep like Matt Breida, but there's some guys that we need to extend, before it's too late. So
Yeah, and we'll get into that, and that'll be awesome.
yeah,
That'll be fun.
but hey, it was a fun season. We finished above our expectations. We're 10-6. Don't listen to any of those ESPN, CBS analysis saying that we should draft Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. We're not doing
It's
that.
not happening.
As Chris Greer and Brian Flores said, Tua is QB1. He will be QB1 going into 2021. I'm all done here. Like I said, thank you guys. You made this season fun, and I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. Like, comment, subscribe. Please share the video. Share it with everyone you know. Share it with your dad, mom, dolphin, your neighbor, your neighbor's dolphin, neighbor's dog. Everyone, just make sure that you get the word out because we're gonna put forth, more videos, more stuff going forward.
A lot of
And
fun
it'll be
stuff
exciting.
coming up.
Yep.
All right,
Cool.
guys. Have a good one.
Fins up.